bring Bob onto the podium, I would like to share some personal thoughts about our family. Bob and I come from a family of 6 brothers. All at one point, all 6 brothers were in the service, active and inactive, at the same time. 3 brothers were Army, 2 were Marines, and me, the lone sailor. 2 brothers have passed, but 2 brothers are in the audience. I'd like to introduce them. Brothers Tom and Greg, please stand. Thank you. Colonel Raclaw first enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1964. During those 4 years of enlisted service, he was attached to infantry units in Camp Pendleton, Okinawa, and served in combat in Vietnam. He was discharged, returned to college, graduated, applied for officer candidate school, and in 1971 was commissioned a second lieutenant. He was sent to the U.S. Army Barrington School, where he was a distinguished honor graduate. Colonel Raclaw went on to various assignments, including commander of 1st Battalion, 24th Marines, and Chief of Staff, 4th Marine Division. He retired from the Marine Corps. Colonel Raclaw's decoration, Combat Action Ribbon, Purple Heart awarded twice, Meritorious Service Medal, and the Legion of Merit. Colonel Raclaw will share with us his Memorial Day observations.
Hello, LBS. It really is an honor and a privilege to be standing here before you this afternoon. I am really, really humbled by the invitation. Before I begin, I do want to recognize some people. Firstly, I cannot start my remarks without acknowledging my fellow Marines from MACG 48. Thank you for your presence. Recognize the members, my wife, Ruthann, and the other members of the Raclaw family who are here. Thank you. And I want to recognize a special guest. Standing in the back of the room, or in the back of the audience, the old number 23 from the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan. Hello, Michael. No. He's not. He's not. That's not true. But what is true is I have your attention. And I want your attention because I'm going to ask you to do something in a few minutes. But first, I would like all the veterans to please rise. Now for the rest of us, I'm going to ask you to join me in a minute or so in giving these veterans a round of applause. But here's what's going to be different. You're going to applaud, you're going to clap, you're going to hoot and howl like you really mean it. This is not going to be some polite applause that you would give at some tea party. So please join me in a loud and resounding round of applause for our veterans. The other day, and he was talking about some confusion about the blending of messages between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. He is saying they're becoming one and the same, and he acted as though it shouldn't be that way. But then I ask you, how can veterans talk and not remember the fallen, those people who died in the same battles in which they fought? Also, how can you talk about the fallen, those who pay the ultimate price, about those veterans still carrying the physical and mental scars of combat? Those two are intermingled and inseparable. To talk about one, you have to include the other. Since our nation was founded, your military has been involved in many, many operations across this globe. Our politicians have not been shy to send our armed forces into harm's way. A lot of people don't realize it, but we've only had 6 years since our nation's founding, 6 years of a shot not being fired in anger. So we've used our military a lot. To the veterans here, you hear the word, thank you for your service. What the hell does that mean? Does it mean thank you for keeping our country safe? Does it mean thank you for the sweat you exerted in training? Does it mean thank you for the blood you shed in combat? Does it mean thank you for the lonely hours patrolling our skies, patrolling the seas, and patrolling the land? Does it mean thank you for the graduations you missed, the deaths, the births, the family marriages you missed? Thank you for all the separation from your family and friends? Or does it mean thank you for letting me get on with my life? Does it mean thank you for serving so that I didn't have to? Think about it, it means all these things. So when somebody says to a veteran, and I'm speaking to my veterans, thank you for your service, embrace it because it's coming from their heart. When you took, again to our veterans, when you were standing on those yellow footprints and you took the oath of allegiance to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that was part of an oath. After your term of service, when you got your honorable discharge, you fulfilled your part of the bargain. The other part of the bargain needs to be filled by the citizens of the United States. All is not well in the veteran community. When you go home tonight before the clock strikes midnight, 20 veterans will take their lives by suicide. And 20 tomorrow, and 20 the next day. There is an epidemic of veteran suicides in America. We've got to recognize it. Nearly 1 per hour, someone's taken their lives. There's an 85% increase in women suicides. You wonder what's going on. You know, we hear about post-traumatic stress syndrome. What is that? But clearly it's something that needs to be recognized. We have these returning veterans from war fighting demons in their lives. And the thing about it, a lot of people in the audience have heard either personally or anecdotally from family members or neighbors or people at work. And they're all cries for help, and it sounds like this. You'll hear people say, since she came back from combat. She's different. Before the war, she used to go out and be a social drinker. Now she drinks like she's trying to forget. And now she's experimenting with drugs. Or, my God, he was such a mild-mannered guy before the war, but he came back and he's so irascible, so violent. Or, he can't keep a job. Just bouncing from job to job to job. The periods of depression, what is going on? The spousal abuse. Think about it, these are all cries for help. So it's incumbent upon everybody here to recognize that and do something about it. So what do? Well, you try to get him or her to seek the attention they deserve and they need. There are a lot of organizations out there that cater to veterans. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. A good one I'd like you to remember is an organization called National Veterans Foundation. They're good, they're effective because it's vets talking to vets. They can talk to talk because they've been there. So please, when you hear of anything like that, do your best so that they can get the attention they need. The worst part of war should not be coming home. I am sorry for your loss. Those 6 words seem so inadequate when talking to a Gold Star family member. Think about it, whenever we hear about the death of the armed services, it evokes such emotion within the American public. There's something about it just tears at us when we hear about these young men and women dying for our freedom. You ask yourself, well, why does it evoke such emotion? And psychiatrists are quick to respond, well, that's easy. They died serving others. They didn't die in some foreign country on a business trip trying to eke $1 million deal so that they could become rich and famous. They didn't die trying to scale some mountain in Nepal on some adventurous vacation. They died protecting you, and you. Across a definition of what a hero is. That's what our fallen warriors are. Now let me read it here. A hero is someone who has given his or her life for something bigger than oneself. Boy, doesn't that capture it? All heroes are certainly heroes. To listen to what I'm going to tell you now because it's really, really heart-wrenching. And I'm talking about the notification of when a family member is killed. I want you to visualize with me a mother, could be a father, could be a husband, son, daughter, but we'll focus on the mother. In some suburban community, but you know the venue can change. Some rural community, it could be the inner city, a barrio, doesn't matter. Well, let's just say it's a suburban community. And if that mother just happens to look outside the front window and she sees a military sedan stop in front of a house, she says a silent prayer. Please God, no. She watches. She noticed three people getting out of the car. She's looking intently and sees a staff non-commissioned officer or a chief petty officer. She sees an officer getting out, and then she notices a chaplain. Her prayer is no longer silent. She utters it firmly. Please God, no. She watches as these three individuals adjust their uniform to get their military bearing, and they start to walk up the steps of the sidewalk leading to the front door. With each step, her plea, her cry, becomes like a crescendo in music. With each step, she's saying, no, please God, no, no, turn around, go left, go right, go anywhere but here, no, no. The knock on the door, then she realizes her worst nightmare became a reality. Her son, her daughter, was killed in combat. The next week, it's a whirlwind as they escort the body back. There's a lot of emotion, a lot of tears, but it comes to an end at the burial site with a rifle guard of 7 people, each firing a volley of 3 volleys, for a total of 21 for the 21 gun salute. Then follows with the playing of taps, and then the presentation of the flag. So an officer will go up to that mother and say something like this: on behalf of a grateful nation and the President of the United States, please accept this flag as a token of our appreciation for your loss. Token. The public mourning has ended, but the private mourning, the private grieving begins. What follows are going to be countless sleepless days and weeks and months and even years of that mother crying herself to sleep every night, thinking about what could have been if her son, her daughter, was not killed. In my quiet moments, I think about what can we do to stop the creation of more Gold Star families. I guess one thing we need to do is to resort to force, resort to war as a last resort. Let's try to build on that 6-year track and make it 7 or 8 or 9 so that we're not creating more Gold Star families. God, I remember the heady days after the fall of the Iron Curtain, the dismantling of the Soviet Union. My God, people were talking about the peace visit, the peace dividend. They were talking about turning swords into plowshares, taking all that money that we spent on the military and weapons and putting it towards schools and roads and hospitals, and my God in heaven, good times are here. But how fleeting that was. And that was before ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, Islamic militants in Africa, the Philippines, Afghanistan, Iraq, the regime in Iran, Kim Jong-un in North Korea, Assad in Syria, China launching their second aircraft carrier, China's territorial claims in the Southeast China Sea. At times like this, my God, it is so unstable out there. The words of Plato, the philosopher Plato, comes into mind that only the dead have seen the end of war. So how can we honor the fallen? Firstly, volunteer. More than a few veterans groups really don't endorse ceremonies like this. They compare it to a son or a daughter that visits their mother once a year on Mother's Day. It's like, don't even bother. And they feel that way too because, you know, you're here and then you forget about it. But at least you made the effort to be here. There are so many people that they have the day off and they're celebrating because they don't have to go to school, they don't have to go to work, with no reflection on what the day really means. So volunteer. Your veterans hospitals, they're always in need of volunteers. Stay engaged. And I mean by talking and writing to your congressmen and women. We like to think of them as these big solid oaks that are immutable to the changing of the wind, but most of them are not. They're very susceptible to public opinion. So if you feel strongly about an issue, one way or the other, by all means, make your comments known. Now let's pray for the fallen, for our veterans who are still dealing with the trauma associated with combat, and pray for our nation. A poem by Mary Akey sums it up best. It's entitled "To Honor Our Fallen." We will pray for peace. We will remember their sacrifice. We will cry for their loss. To honor our fallen, we will hold their memory gently in the palms of our hands. To honor our fallen, our grief will flow to the depths of our souls, yet make us proud. To honor our fallen, we will salute our flag. We will stand for what is right. To honor our fallen, we will support the ideals of one nation under God. To honor our fallen, we will support our military, the protectors of our nation. To honor our fallen, we will stand to salute them and kneel to pray for them. May God bless you. May God bless the veterans of the United States of America, and God bless the United States. Thank you very much.